H on the track, boys.
Hola, bienvenidos, buenas noches, buenas tardes, buenos dias, wherever you are watching this from the world. And welcome to another episode of Los Lobos de la Lucha, your CMLL review show here on the BC WrestlePod Network. Me llamo Mikey, and yo soy el jefe de BC WrestlePod parts here in, the internet land. And joining me this evening is mi compadre, mi cariño, mi novio, esa la papa oso en la casa. I'm happy to have you here again. Papa also happy to have you here. So, so excited. We got a lot to talk about in terms of CMLL. Of course, it wouldn't be a Wednesday show without our unofficial co-host, friend to the channel, and knowledgeable of the lucha libre dark art, so to speak, in Agent Lo-Fi. I'm so happy that you are here, my friend, because boy howdy, we got a lot to talk about, and I am interested in your thoughts about this past Viernes Espectacular, as well as what's coming up this Friday. And stay tuned to the end of the show because we got some big announcements coming our way. But before we get into CMLL proper, of course, as we always do, I got to give the announcements and the pre-show stuff. So if you like what you see on your screen, whether it is on YouTube, Twitch, or Kick, we would love for you to follow us and subscribe on whatever platform is more comfortable for you and your video consumptionism. But we also know that full-length reviews, whether they be live or edited, might be a lot to ask, especially if you do not have a lot of time. But if you find yourself wanting to still be a part of our community and interact in a less invasive way, then I highly recommend you following us at BC WrestlePod on every single social media site you could think of: Instagram, Threads, Blue Sky, Facebook, TikTok, where we post our report cards and as well as some other fun things. But we also understand that maybe you are just shy and you don't want to put yourself out there on the internet, but you would still like to support us And what better way to support us than getting some of our merch? We have some merch available at our store at bcwrestlepodshop.fourthwall.com. Not only do we have merch of all our review teams, both the weekly shows and the international brands, but we also have collections of merch that also have charity components of it. Of course, we have our Pride collection, 365 days a year, in which that is donated to Point of Pride. We have our anti-fascism campaign, to as a counteractive measure against everything happening in the United States. And part of those proceeds will be donated to the California Youth Immigration Justice Fund. But we also just dropped our newest collection for the fall in our Pumpkin Suplex Latte collection. Yes, you heard it right. It is literally a t-shirt designed with our luchador mascot, suplexing a pumpkin spice latte. So get into your basic white girl fantasy and buy this shirt. But the added bonus is, again, we have a charity component. So as fun as we make our shirts, we always believe in being philanthropic. And this time, our Pumpkin Suplex Latte shirt, part of the proceeds will be donated to No Kid Hungry, in which is a organization that helps children not only during the holidays, but during the school year, not go hungry for lunch while they are at school and during the holidays. As a former recipient of a child of going through hard times who understands this all too well, I am really appreciative, and this is one of these things I hold dearly because no child should or deserves to go hungry in these times. So if you want to check all that out, link in the description to our merch shop is in the video below, but it is also in the chat across all the platforms we are currently streaming on. So please go check it out, even if you don't buy anything. Bookmark it and come back to it later when you're able to. Now that we gotten out of the way, let's just jump straight into this. Boy, this was a fun episode of Viernes Espectacular. We got some fun matches. We got the first phase of the Copa Independencia that we were going to talk about, and we got a fun main event. And I'm also excited to talk about what to look forward to this Friday as well. But guys, I was not prepared. I was so excited when we talked about this last week, and I am living in my delusional fantasy that Utani is about to get some sort of run because we kick things off with our match, Relampago match. This is Captain Suicida versus my lovable new favorite in CMLL this year, Mr. Utani. This was a baller match. I really love this. So, of course, we have seen Utani in tag team action and trios action. And unless I am mistaken, and Agent Lo-Fi, you can correct me if I am wrong, I believe this is the first time, at least on Viernes Espectacular, that we've gotten to see Utani kind of go off on his own. So again, if you are unfamiliar with Relampago matches in CMLL, this is a 10-minute time limit match in which you have 10 minutes to pin or submit your opponent to pick up the win here. And these two used pretty much the full extent of the whole 10 minutes. We had like something like 30-something seconds left on the clock. So we almost went to the full time limit. But this was such a fun opener. Captain Suicida, every time I see him on my screen, is crazy. And Agent Lo-Fi coming in that, yeah, this is Utani's first Friday single. So that is claps right there because I love seeing this man get a singles push, kind of. And Utani brought it. I think my favorite part of this match was the way that Utani just flies over the top of the rope. He's like, watch this. That man cleared the ropes and he almost cleared the whole barricade in front of the audience too. I was like, slow your roll, bro. But this was so much fun. Ultimately, it would be Utani who picks up the victory with about 35 seconds left on the clock. A fantastic way to open the show and to kick us off for Viernes Espectacular. Papa Oso, what did you think of our Relampago match between Captain Suicida and Utani?
I loved it. I thought it was a great opener. I thought that, gosh, they're all, for the most part. And then I know it's not perfect all the time, but like 99.95% of the time is they always start with something strong. And it just really gets me excited. And Utani, I love this guy. I didn't know much about him, except for what I was introduced here recently. But the more I see him in the ring, the more I'm just enamored with him. And I mean, he fits in so well here. I mean, I would think that he's been here forever. And maybe he has, and I just don't know that. But it literally feels like he's always been here. And, because sometimes you get wrestlers that come in and you could tell they don't belong there, and not in a bad way, but they're not from there. But Utani kind of feels like he belongs there.
Well, and the cool thing is, and this is, remembering from previous conversations we've had, and also including Agent Lo-Fi and all of this too. Agent Lo-Fi has told us that Utani has been kind of grinding on the Lucha Libre independent scene down in Mexico for quite some time, and then found himself in CMLL over the last year or two. And then, but you're absolutely right. I think from the tag team matches and the trios matches, he works very well with others. But I feel, for me personally, this is a step in the right direction to be like, maybe we'll start seeing a more singles push for Utani and whatever that means, because I think he's, from the little that we've seen in here in CMLL only, because I've seen clips of him elsewhere in the independent scene, but I'm really excited, and I really hope that CMLL continues to develop and give Utani stuff to do, because I think I would love to see him literally push it and become something cool. Ooh, fun fact from Agent Lo-Fi, Utani initially came to Mexico to be a soccer player, and now he's a professional wrestler. As I laugh at this, but it's crazy how many, and just wrestling in general, how we have a lot of athletes in actual professional sports then find their way to professional wrestling either afterwards due to retiring or injury or whatever. Like, because you'd be surprised, especially across all the promotions, how many were former gymnasts, basketball players, collegiate wrestlers, football players. It's crazy. So, and I got to bring this up for Agent Lo-Fi. This is going to be my running theme tonight. Great match till Captain tweaked his leg onward towards the end. Still got everything in, though. Everything tonight had one injury or miscue from being amazing. Just one of those nights, in my opinion, happens, which, yeah, unfortunately, that's one of those things. Every match had something go down. I was like, gosh darn it, you guys. We were so close, but I still enjoyed it. It's just one thing happened. So in this match, Captain Suicida looked like he tweaked his leg towards the end, but still Utani would pick up the victory here. And CMLL, please give me more Utani on my screen. That is all I have to say. So, alrighty. So after this, we get into another one of my personal favorites, being back on my Friday screen, and I enjoyed the hell out of this one. So we get our trios match. This is a Relevo Australiano match. So on one side, we have the team of Mágica Blanca, Brillante Jr., and our personal favorite, Exotico, if you want to call him that, in Dulce Gardenia. I love Dulce so much. He is so much fun. Happy to see him back on my Viernes Espectacular screen. And those three were taking on the team of Felino Jr., El Cobarde, and Hijo de Stuka Jr. I'm not going to lie. Every time I see Stuka Jr. in his mask, I'm like, is he wearing a bike helmet? Like, what is this man wearing? But again, this was a Relevo Australiano. This was such a fun one. Another fantastic match as well. Again, we went back and forth. I do appreciate that initially Felino, Cobarde, and Stuka Jr. were going after Dulce Gardenia, and then he would go around and then get them back for it. God, I love Dulce so much. This was a really fun one, but again, I was like, we were getting really close, but of course, Agent Lo-Fi coming in with the punch is that Brillante went down in this match. Like, stop. I'm like, everybody, we are getting close to Aniversario. I know not everyone's on the card, but dang it, you guys, we cannot be getting hurt right now.
Seriously, slow down, boys. Slow down.
Slow down. But when the dust is settled and after everything was said and done, it would be the team of Felino Jr., El Cobarde, and Hijo de Stuca Jr. to pick up the win. And Agent Lo-Fi is correct, even though Brillante went down, is because it was a trios match. It was easier to work around because there's more people involved. Papa Oso, what did you think of our trios match between these six?
Loved it. And, kudos and shout outs to Dulce for representing, man. He is just so much fun to watch. He's so genuinely having a good time. That's what's so great about it. It's like, at least that's what it comes across. Like, he is just having the best time of his life. And I love it. This was, I thought it was a great, I always say it. Oh, this is a great match. Oh, this is a great match. Oh, this is a great match. And I don't really have anything bad to say about the Luchas. I mean, even their worst match is better than most American matches, and it's like, I just love it. And yeah, they have their issues, their mistakes happen and accidents happen, and like it does in every company. But man, they just keep going. They truck through. But yeah, this was, God, it was so much fun. And I was so sad that my Dulce Gardenia did not win. But that's all right.
Hey, but you know what? We've been missing him the last couple for quite a hot minute here on Viernes Espectacular. But I'm happy to see him back on Fridays, and hopefully we get to see more of him down the line. But again, even with Brillante going down during this match, they all still worked very well because of the trios match. And again, Felino Jr., El Cobarde, and Hijo de Stuca Jr. were able to pick up the victory here. So we move on into our next match, which of course sees our Amazonas action for the episode and for the week. And this was another trios match. This time, another relevo australiano de Amazonas, a dos de tres caídas, so 2 out of 3 falls. And this saw the team of La Catalina teaming up with our tag champs of Lluvia and La Jarochita, taking on, first of all, our universal champion, our the love of our lives, Persephone, and also, of course, the love of my life, Reina Isis. But most importantly, coming back from injury, finally, and making her return this episode is the powerhouse of Zeuxis. I was like, yes. I mean, we knew she was coming back, but I was like, yes, I have missed you. She's been out for a little bit since Grand Slam Mexico, but I am so happy to see her back here. And all I have to say is, damn, Persephone, we just throwing bitches left and right.
Yeah, she was.
I was like, damn, Persephone. Listen, Persephone is probably still mad that she lost that Forbidden Door 2 weeks ago. And again, I was like, here we go. Pulling heel duties, being La Ruda here. I was like, damn, Persephone. La Catalina got tossed. And then she started tossing Lluvia and La Jarochita. Of course, because it was, Persephone was out here throwing bitches.
She was.
And here's the crazier part too. So we get into the third fall and we're tied 1-1, right? So I was just like, I wonder how this is going to end. Zeuxis had La Catalina. She was pulling the hair. She was pulling the weave. I was like, okay. But then the craziest part happened. And I was just like, oh, so this is how we're going to end it, because Zeuxis is pulling La Catalina's hair. Of course, our lovely referee, La Vaquerita, was in there, and she's like, hey, we can't be doing this. Zeuxis pushes La Vaquerita, and she calls the match right there. I was like, oh, shit. I was like, all right, here we go. And so the winners were La Catalina, Lluvia, La Jarochita, and that last fall was counted for them because Zeuxis pushed the referee. I was like, oh, I love this sometimes.
Man, it was crazy.
It was crazy. And Agent Lo-Fi coming in, this was pretty much my match with the least issues, really good one. I can nitpick on flat spots about it, which is fine, because there was a couple of moments where I was like, all right, what are we doing? Who's waiting for who? Like, what's going on? But listen, I love all 6 of these women. It makes sense because Persephone and Reina, I believe, if I'm correct, are going to be challenging Lluvia and La Jarochita for those tag titles at Aniversario, which should be a lot of
Hell
fun.
yeah.
But then on top of that, too, with returning Zuxis and everything went down as well, La Catalina challenges Zuxis to a match this Friday, 1-on-1. So, but also, I kind of feel like how this is going to go, but I want to hear your thoughts. What did you think of our Amazonas action?
Holy crap, man. When they were like announcing everybody, I was like, this is like a stacked match. I was like, hell yes. It was like, well, let's pick all of the powerhouses and let's just throw them in a ring together and see what happens. And holy God. And I love all 6 of these women. These women, they are at the top of my lists of my favorite Amazonas. And so when they were calling them out, I was like, oh yeah, okay. Oh yeah, all right, okay. Oh, that's gonna be a good team. Who are they going against? And then it's like, oh my God. It was like my birthday, man. And Christmas all kind of rolled in together. And I was just like, this is gonna be badass. And yeah, the ending was hilarious. But it was so, you know what's so great about it? It was so perfect. Because, Zuxis has just come back, and it's like, way to reestablish yourself, girl. It's like, it's like, I'm back, bitches. I was like, oh, hell yes, girl. Hell yes.
Yeah, what a way to bring Zuxis back in from injury. And again, it continues to tell the story of, Lluvia and La Jarochita versus Persephone and Reina Isis for the tag titles at Aniversario. And then next week, this Friday, we're getting La Catalina and Zuxis mano a mano, so 1-on-1. So really fun to match. This was great. So we move on. So, okay, let's break this down because technically this was the next match, but we got like 3 matches in one in like the span of like 25, 30 minutes. So let's break this down. So we get the first phase of the Copa Independencia. So the way that it's working this year is that we have so we have a total of 3 matches. We have 4 teams. The first 2 matches are elimination style. So in this case, we have Difunto and Barbosa taking on Gemelo Diablo y Uno y Gemelo Diablo a Dos. So the way that it's working this year is that the winning team would go and face off the winning team of the second match, and then that winner would go on to the next round phase of this tournament. It's a lot to keep track of. But in our first bout, we have Difunto and Barbosa representing, of course, the Galeon del Fantasma, who we love, our lovely pirate faction here, taking on Gemelo Diablo Uno y Gemelo Diablo Dos. And I'm looking at the Gemelos. I'm like, my God, those boys are beefy AF. I'm like, hot damn. I was like, listen, call me. Anyways. But you know what? Between the 2 preliminary matches before we got into the finals between the 2 winning teams, I have to say I really enjoyed this one. Again, we have not seen too much of the Gemelos this year. Of course, we've seen a lot of El Galeon del Fantasma. They are literally all over the place. And they are also being represented in our main event this Friday, which we're going to talk about at the end. But you know what? I knew El Galeon was going to be great, but shout out to the Gemelos. They look great even in the loss. Like, again, tossing people around. And the fact that they made Defunto be like, oh, damn, we can throw this big old zombie around. Let's go. I really like this, of course. Defunto and Barbosa won this match, so they would be going on to the final and third match later on in this sequential order. But Papa, also, what did you think of our first face-off between Defunto and Barbosa and the Gemelo Diablos?
I thought it was pretty good. The Gemelo Diablos, I think I've only seen them one time prior to this. So I'm not 100% familiar with them. Though I really liked them. I felt that they were probably a little less experienced, it felt like. Are they new? They're not newer, right? I mean, they're not like...
I don't
Like,
think they're like new to the business, but I do believe they're at least newer to us, and Agent Lo-Fi can probably give us some information. I mean, his thoughts are he thought the Gemelo Diablos looked really good despite the loss. They improved a ton over the past year, so they are not new. But
how long have they been around?
that is a good question, or maybe
Agent Lo-Fi.
yeah. Again, Agent Lo-Fi, I love and hate that we reduce you to our Lucha Libre expert, but honestly, you have more.
Hey.
You are a gem that helps us out.
I don't pretend that I know anything.
Me neither.
I'm a basic white bitch, so I don't know a lot. So, but I want to know. I want to know a lot.
Okay, so according to Agent Lo-Fi, they were on the fringe for quite a while and recently put in the effort. So they were on the outskirts, and now they put in the work to kind of be given a chance here, which is really good. We love to see that, honestly.
I like them. I really do. I really like them. Of course, I like the big sort of powerhouses. You know, especially powerhouses that can do all of the high fly as well. But
yeah, so. Again, fun match. Defunto and Barbosa do win, so they will be facing the winners of our next match. And Agent Lo-Fi says, I wouldn't have been shocked if they left at some point the last couple of years, but they stuck around, they put in the work, and now here we are. So good on them.
Excellent.
All righty. So from here, we get into the second match, and the winners would go on to face Defunto and Barbosa in the third round of the same episode. So we get the second tag team match to determine who would go on to face El Galeon del Fantasma this evening. And we got El Terrible and El Elemental, who I love the dripping red blood effect when he came into the ring. I was like, yes, I'm here for it.
Yeah.
And they were taking on Los Dragones, so Dragón de Fuego and Dragón Legendario. This was also another fun one. I really like this one. I did like the first match we saw prior to this a little bit more, but I still thought this was pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. I know, at least, and I could be corrected, but I was like, okay, El Terrible has been around for a little bit, so I was like, okay, him and El Elemental are gonna win. That was not the case. I was kind of pleasantly surprised that Los Dragones picked up the victory here. I was like, all righty. But I still had a good time with this one. So again, Dragón de Fuego and Dragón Legendario do win here, and they will move on to the final round of the evening. Papa Oso, what did you think of this second matchup?
This was I don't think I know any of these folks. For some reason, I think maybe Dragón de Fuego, and I think maybe I've seen them before, but El Terrible and El Elemental, I don't know them at all. Like, I didn't know who they were. I was like, ooh, which I'm, anytime someone new to me comes in, I'm super excited. So I was like, ooh, I get to learn something new about somebody new. So I really liked this one. And I probably liked it more than most people did, only because to me it felt new. Like I've never experienced. Oh, excuse me, my nose is all itchy. I've never experienced them before, so I was like, "Oh my god, this is so cool!" Ooh. What are they like? What's their style like? And I was just really kind of watching just for that at that point. So I really enjoyed the match, mostly because, again, I didn't know these guys, so I wasn't familiar with their sort of styles, and so I really kind of like all four of them, and I hope we see more of them. Especially like El Terrible and El Elemental. They're pretty badass, actually. And I will have to admit, I thought they were going to win as well.
Yeah. But again, I was pleasantly surprised to see Los Dragones win, and Agent Lo-Fi coming in is with Los Dragones have really been taking advantage of all their opportunities lately, because they have been popping up on the last couple of Viernes Espectaculares, whether it be a tag team or trios action. And to kind of add to the point, Elemental and Terrible are rare on Fridays. You'll see them more on Tuesdays and whatnot. So they'd be popping up in the other shows that I wish we can cram, but we already watch a lot of wrestling. throughout the week. I know Adolfo keeps up with all of that, but yeah, the Tuesday shows are fun from time to time when I'm able to catch them. But of course, the Friday ones are the ones that we cover here. But they use across the three shows, they use everybody pretty well, so it's a lot of fun. So,
Okay.
so Terrible is a legend, Elemental, a fellow big Lucha alum with Utani. So I was like, okay, so these two are coming from the same cloth. I love to see that.
Very nice.
So, love that. So again, Los Dragones do win this round, but they do not get a break because then we immediately go into sudden death. Because it is Los Dragones taking on El Galeón del Fantasma, and after a bit of a back and forth, ultimately, it would be El Galeón del Fantasma that pick up the victory here and would be moving on to the next round of the tournament to see who they're going to face from the from the second phase. So shout out to El Galeón del Fantasma. Again, I thought this was another fun match. Given that the three matches were combined in such a short time period, this was a really quick, bout. It was like, okay, first match done, second match done, third one, go, and done. I was like, oof, I hadn't had time to breathe. But this third match was a lot of fun. And again, I'm really happy to see El Galeón del Fantasma get a lot of the opportunities. And I'm excited to see where they go. Papa Oso, what did you think of the finals of the first phase of the Copa Independencia between Los Dragones and El Galeón Fantasma?
It was fun. I felt that I kind of knew what the outcome was going to be. As it was going, I was like, okay, I see who's winning. Okay, all right. And they did. And I love that. I love that for them because I love them as a tag team. I think they're great. I mean, they're just so, I just love the whole aesthetic of everything. I love everything they got going on. It's just super fun.
Right? The Pirates are getting the big push finishing out this year.
Which I love, and they should, because they're brilliant. They're great. I loved them. I thought this was great. I thought it was too short, but it was good.
I do too. I'm so happy to see the Pirates get the push. And you know what? Shout out to Zandokan Jr. too, because this man / this kid, because everyone's a kid who's younger than me, but Zandokan is getting opportunities because he's going to be representing CMLL not only stateside, but he's going to Fantastica Mania UK in October. So he's traveling to the UK with Mystico and Echiseto and a couple other folks. I was like, shout out to the Pirates, man. They are awesome. And Agent Lo-Fi, I agree that El Galeón del Fantasma are definitely the CMLL is positioning them to be the top rudos and CMLL, which is good because we need I don't want to say younger, but I want to say more new gen rudos, especially since a lot of the old school legendary rudos are retiring or about to have final matches here very soon. I was like, alrighty. So again, the Pirates are going on to the next round, and they're going to face whoever wins this Friday during the second phase. But we get to our main event now, in which this was a tag team match, Relevo Sencillo. And this is again, of course, but this one is a una caída, so this is one fall. And this is, of course, the team of Angel de Oro and Hechicero, who we love here in CMLL. And they were taking on the team of, our lovely poster boy, Mystico, teaming up with AEW and one half of my favorite tag team right now ever in Bandido. Listen, Bandido is out here having a run for the year. Like, I'm more Bandido and CMLL just is like amazing to me. And this was a really fun match. Of course, this was a bit on the shorter side since this was a one fall. But I thought all four men did pretty good. Again, Mystico makes sense. Bandido is fun. Hechicero is fun. I really love seeing, Angel in here as well, because I've been really loving Angel de Oro this year and last year. Of course, Los Hermanos Chavez are tag champs as well. This was a fun one. But yeah, I do agree with Agent Lo-Fi. There were a couple of missteps from taking it from a great match to an amazing match, but I still had a fun one with this one. And of course, Mystico and Bandido do pull out the victory here. Papa Oso, the main event of Viernes Espectacular, what did you think?
I loved it. of course. And I agree that it was good. Could have been great. But there were a couple of moments that even I was kind of like, what's going on right now? It's like, is everybody on the same page? Okay, now we're on the same page. Okay, now we can keep going. So yeah, that was a little odd, but I mean, other than that, I thought it was pretty good. And I have to say, Angel de Oro is looking more and more scrumptious every time I see him.
I'm
I'm
telling
not
you.
even kidding.
I'm telling you. Just like one day, it's just like you'll burst out of your shirt, be like, psh.
Seriously,
like-
I was just like, every time I see him, it's like there's something shifts, and I'm just like, ooh,
the vapors.
why did I not notice that before? I was like, ooh,
Be like,
like, hello.
Oh my goodness, I love it so
Don't
much.
worry, Angel. Don't worry. Templario and I have an open relationship. So
Well, oh my goodness. Well, speaking of Templario, we're going to talk about him in a little bit. But to close this out, Angel de Oro was there to make Místico La Mística look good, and he delivered, which is also very true as well. I was just like, it was amazing. But yeah, this was a fun main event. Místico and Bandito win. They celebrate to take us off of the air for Viernes Espectacular. This was another fun episode, but let's get into what we have for this upcoming week, because this week is also stacked and poised to be really, really fun as well. And I'm super excited. So the crazy thing is that this is like our technically the quote unquote go home show for CMLL next week's this Friday and next week's review. Because then next Friday, and I'm gonna get into that announcement in a little bit, but we're gonna talk about it in a little bit. But this upcoming Friday, September 12th edition of Viernes Espectacular, we kick things off, of course, with a tag team match in which we are seeing Galaxy and Shockercito taking on Pequeño Polvora and Full Metal. So that makes me super excited. Then, of course, we have a trios match in which we are seeing Magia Blanca, Shalhua, and Hijo de Pantera taking on Calavera Jr. Uno, Infarto, and Calavera Jr. Dos. Then in Amazonas action, mano a mano, we get La Catalina taking on Zuxi, so that should be a really fun match. But let me tell you, I'm going to be torn this whole entire time depending on who's matched up. But we get the second phase of the Copa Independencia. We do not know who's going to be facing who, but the teams... Oh, don't worry. I'm going to save him because best is for last, because we did get a Soberano Jr. appearance during the show, which we're going to talk about. I miss our clowny boy. So he looks like he's doing okay, which makes me hope he's coming back sooner than we expect. So, of course, Soberano Jr. had a moment where he came out. We had a former, San Francisco 49er, and I'm like, damn, that man is tall. That man be thick. And so he got a Lucha mask from Soberano, and Soberano got a 49ers jersey with his name on the back. But I'm like, I miss you, Soberano Jr. Please come back. Yes, that is my novio right there. We love Soberano Jr. in this house. But back to previewing this of Viernes Espectacular. I am biased because I'm rooting for this team, but the 4 teams in this is Maxstar and Futuro, Euphoria and Mephisto. And then this is where I'm torn, because they got 4 of our faves in this one. We got Titan and Templario teaming up, so it's like, yes. But we have Atlantis, Senior, and Blue Panther in this match. And I was like, I'm biased. I'm rooting for Blue Panther and Atlantis. I'm not going to lie, you guys. Like, I'm biased. But they're gonna break my heart, because I was like, can we get Atlantis, Blue Panther, Titan, and Templario somehow winning and make it a triple threat? No? Okay. Ooh, Agent Lo-Fi with his predictions. He's going with Titan and Templario to win the second phase this Friday. So I'm like, you know what? I would not be mad at that. But, I also think given the crazy thing is that Titan was in the finals of the Copa Independencia last year and he won. So it would make sense for him to see if he can get a second time run at it. But I'm rooting for Blue Panther and Atlantis because I love me our elder statesman of CMLL. But I think this is going to be a lot of fun. But then, listen, the three of us have all our baby daddies right here. So, of course, Papa Oso's baby daddy is Templario. But I get to see mine in the main event this, Friday for the AEW Tag Team Championships. We are getting an AEW Tag Title match. Our challengers are El Galeon del Fantasma. So that is Zandokan Jr. and Defunto taking on our current AEW Tag Team titles. And I'm super excited because it is, of course, Bandito coming back for a second Friday in a row, which is amazing. But then, you guys, I get to see my personal baby daddy and Brody King. Amazing human being. That is a big man. Love him. But they will be defending their titles against El Galeon del Fantasma. Listen, Brodito in Arena Mexico just makes sense on it. So I'm excited for that match. Agent Lo-Fi coming in. You got to remember it's a spot on Aniversario for those guys. That's why he's leaning with that way. And Templario has to be on that show. Honestly, I also feel that way. Templario should be on Aniversario. So that would listen because the Copa Independencia, whatever team wins the faces go on to face each other at Aniversario. So I'm like, So Templario versus Teton would slap. I'm not even gonna lie. But that is this Friday's Viernes Espectacular. And then we got to mentally prepare ourselves because this Friday is going to be a lot of fun. But Papa Oso, we are officially in DEFCON 5 because next Friday, September 20th, we have been waiting. It has been a long road. We are finally here. Next Friday, September 20th, is the 92nd Aniversario show for CMLL. And we are going to be here to do a watch along. It is our new annual yearly tradition. We did one for last year's Aniversario, and we are damn sure doing another one this year. So the matches that we have scheduled are going to be a lot of fun. Of course, we got our, final match between our elder statesmen. We are getting a grudge match, the Copa Independencia. We're getting a title versus mask match, of course, with Mystico and MJF. So yes, Agent Lo-Fi, watch along hype. So yeah, we will be here next Friday, September 20th, beginning at 7:30 p.m. Pacific, 9:30 p.m. Central, 10:30 p.m. Eastern, and we are going to we're going to sit our beautiful butt cheeks in our seats, and we're going to watch this thing live. And listen, last year, I kid you not, I don't know how, I don't know why, but to this date, in the 3 years that we've done BC WrestlePod, last year's Aniversario show has been the largest number of people to ever visit one of these streams, and I'm really hoping that's the case this year, but who knows? Holy crap, it was a big game changer for us, and I'm excited for next Friday. But we got to get through this Friday. Oh, my bad. It's the 19th, not the 20th. Just kidding. I'm thinking about something else on the 20th. My bad. Listen, it's been a long day. My dates are all over the place. But it's next Friday for sure. I know that. So, yeah, so that is it for the CMLL review. But I do have a little bit of noticias to talk about. So let's talk about some CMLL folks that are involved in some other things in the next coming weeks, in the next coming months. So first, I want to talk about that this Saturday at 7 p.m. Pacific, I will be here, and I got to talk to Adolfo to see if he is okay with joining me for this one, because technically he is still on his mini vacation, but don't fret. He will be back for the watch along for Aniversario for sure next Friday. But this Saturday, MLW is having their next show, Fightland, and we got a couple of CMLL folks here. Yeah, that's what I heard too. Poor Dark Silhouette. Hope her injury isn't too bad, because I miss Dark Silhouette and hope she is doing okay. So we'll see. But this Saturday on Fightland, we have a couple matches scheduled. First and foremost, we changed some things on the card when we got the final card earlier this week. But we are having an Opera Cup opening round match in which we are seeing Ultimo Guerrero take on Esfinge. So that should be a fun match. But this match I'm also really hyped for. We are getting Zandokan Jr. taking on Blue Panther Jr. So I'm excited for this one as well. But y'all already know that the CMLL, match that I'm looking forward to the most on Fightland this Saturday is for the MLW World Middleweight Championship, in which the luchador hunter Ikuru Kwan is taking on CMLL's Templario. Somebody is walking out as champion, and I cannot wait to see who that is. But also want to remind you folks that even though it is not until October, you'll blink and it will be time for Fantastica Mania UK, which is taking place Saturday, October 18th. And of course, we got people like Místico, Hechicero, Zandokan Jr., Esfinge, Máscara Dorada. There's a couple of folks who will be traveling over the pond to Fantastica Mania UK, and we will be here to review it in October. So yeah, that is all the noticias that I have. Thank you so much for tuning in to another exciting episode of Los Lobos de la Lucha. We will be back next Wednesday to review the Friday, September 12th edition of Viernes Espectacular. And then in a few days, we will be back again next Friday to do the live watch along for the 92nd aniversario. So thank you so much for tuning in from all of us here at Los Lobos de la Lucha and, the rest of the BC WrestlePod family. Remember, take care of yourself, love one another, stay by iconic mi familia, y alas todos. Until next time, it's going to be sayonara, adios, and we'll catch you later. Peace.
Me tiene loco en la cabeza cuando me tocas. Siento que todo está bien, pero en verdad yo no sé si tú